The race for governor in Minnesota is officially heating up.
Plymouth resident and former state representative and county commissioner Jeff Johnson won the Republican primary with 30% of the vote. State Representative Kurt Zellers of Maple Grove finished second. Johnson now squares off against DFL incumbent Mark Dayton. Reporter Carissa Wyant has more on the race and the issues we expect to hear a lot more about leading into November.
It was a very positive 10-week campaign, and I think that the Republicans in Minnesota responded to my message that we need a conservative who's actually electable.
After capturing the Republican nomination for governor, Jeff Johnson says he has a strategy going forward.
Go out there and bring in independent votes who can share a vision that will inspire not just Republicans but non-Republicans in the state.
Heading into a fall showdown against Democratic Governor Mark Dayton, Johnson is already trying to set himself apart.
We're not just going to fund programs because it makes us feel good. We're going to fund programs because they can prove that they're actually changing people's lives the way we say we want to. And that's just not happening in government right now.
DFL leaders, meanwhile, used the Republican primary to point out that the current path is the best direction for Minnesota.
The contrast between both parties couldn't be any more stark or clear in this upcoming election. One party wants to move us backwards and erase the progress we've made over these last few years. The other party wants to continue down the road to progress.
Both parties also began laying out their roadmap of how they envision progress being made.
Talk about education reform a lot, in particular the achievement gap, the disparity in graduation rates between white students and students of color in Minnesota. It's the worst in the country in Minnesota.
The GOP, under Jeff Johnson's leadership as a standard bearer, wants to take us back to the days when people were kicked off of their health insurance because of pre-existing conditions.
In the months to come, both candidates say that they're going to focus on fundraising and drawing contrasts between one another. One point that both Democrats and Republicans did agree on is potentially moving the primary to earlier. Only about 200,000 Minnesotans showed up last night to vote. In St. Paul, Carissa Wyant, 12 News.
And Carissa tells us leaders from both parties say they would potentially support moving the primary elections from August to June in hopes of getting a better voter turnout.